Good morning, loves, and welcome back to another Morning Messages and Magic. I am Kimberly with Earth Goddess Energy Healing, and today we are going to talk about energy movement and sacred geometry and the relationship between those two and how it relates to us. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about this channel and what I'm doing. So, I am on this spiritual journey, and we all have our own unique journeys. I continuously, throughout this journey, have been called to create a community, to share what I've learned on my journey, because I've learned, I've gained knowledge, insight, how I have elevated at different times through the experience that I was in. But I am not an expert on everything, and that's just my own journey. So I am really seeking a community of individuals that also want to share their journey so that we can learn from each other and share, support. So that was the purpose of starting these morning messages and magic. I am a medium, and I do a lot of energy work with my clients. That's probably the most heartfelt moment for me is when I'm connecting with someone else's energy, their higher self, and the other energetic entities that are working with them also, because then I also get that energy flow back. Okay, so, if that's something you're interested in, if you're looking for a community also, if you recognize that where you're at on your spiritual journey, you would benefit from a community of support and inspiration, that's it. It's not just support, but it's inspiration. I think I quote Ram Dass quite often because I really relate with Ram Dass and his philosophy and the words that he often used. But what he said was, everyone can be our teacher if we listen. So it really doesn't matter where you are on this journey. It doesn't matter where you are on your spiritual journey. I have something to learn from you, and you can learn something from me. And together we can help elevate each other to the frequency that we are seeking, that we're preparing for at this moment. And then on the bigger picture, if I am raising my vibration and you're raising your vibration, then collectively we are helping to raise the vibration, and we need that right now. It's hard to argue with that, right? It doesn't matter what your perspective is politically, where you live globally, we all could stand for the collective to raise their vibration. So that is really my goal with this channel. That is my heartfelt request out to the universe and within the YouTube community. I am seeking others. I'm seeking a smaller community that we can walk together on our own independent journeys together. So, all right, let's talk about energy movement and sacred geometry. So, I have been working with sacred geometry for a long time. You can probably see my tattoo right there. So I'm pretty committed to sacred geometry. It really resonates with me. It makes sense to me. The energy of Metatron. Metatron is the archangel that is related to sacred geometry, that represents sacred geometry, that brings the wisdom of sacred geometry. And so that is an area that I have been walking down. And lately I've wanted to really understand on a deeper level the different components of sacred geometry on a very basic level, because sacred geometry just builds on each other. It's just like geometry, you know. If you understand the circle, then you can understand what the complex intertwining circles mean better if you understand the basis of this. So lately what I've been called to work with is the spiral. And the spiral to me, I guess, is very personal. It calls in my divine feminine, but it doesn't necessarily represent that across the board. So spirals represent energy movement, energy flow. And that's been a theme of mine all week long. With all the planetary retrogrades we've had, I felt very stagnant. And so I was called to re-explore the energy of the spirals. So again, spirals represent energy movement, energy flow. And when you look at the directions of the spiral, they typically mean different things. So the ones that spiral out to the left are calling in the divine feminine. It's healing through the divine feminine. It's healing your past wounds. It's healing past experiences. It's healing ancestral trauma. And then the spiraling out to the right are calling in your divine masculine, which we all have both, right? And the divine masculine is healing for the future. It's creating the energy flow that you want for the future. So if you look, you know, when you think about spirals, you can see them throughout nature, everywhere. You can see them in DNA, you can see them in plants, fingerprints, and shells. I'm like, where else can we see them? They're profoundly in so many places in nature. And so they remind us that energy doesn't move in a straight line. Our paths don't move in a straight line. It's a spiral, right? Our journeys, and you know, we can talk about our journeys as in this lifetime, in what we've chose, but we can also talk about our expansion, our spiritual journeys. Also, they never go in a straight line. We go this direction and then we come back around and we see it from a different perspective now, and then we come back around and now we have a new perspective and we come back around for as many times as we need, right? Until we get to the place that we're seeking. So within that spiral, you're gonna have this ebb and flow of energy, this ebb and flow. Sometimes we're going to have highs, sometimes we're going to have lows or resting places. And that's what I was called to talk about specifically today. So many of us get caught up in this idea that the highs are where we need to be and the lows are not okay. I mean, the highs feel good. We all like that, right? We're all like, whoo, I feel great. My frequency is so high. I'm feeling so much love pouring out of me. It's amazing. And yeah, that's a beautiful place to be. But there is this sacred resting place for all of us. And many times when we're in that, and I do this also, when we're in that resting place, we feel like we're stuck. Why are we in this place of stagnation? Why are we not moving forward? And then we preoccupy ourselves. We convince ourselves that, oh, okay, I can't just sit here and enjoy this beautiful cup of nourishing coffee. My coffee, I allow myself 1 cup of coffee a week because I like coffee a lot. But it's really hard for my body to process it, which makes me sad because I want to have it every day, but I can't. And I'm fully aware of this about my body. So 1 coffee a week. So today's the day. I'm having some coffee, but within that coffee, also, I've discovered that if I add different healing components and nourishing elements to my coffee, then my body accepts it, and then it slows it down, because I think the problem is coffee just goes in my body and it gets processed so fast that I get that buzzy feeling, and it doesn't feel good. My body doesn't know what to do with it. So then my body starts reacting. Like I'll get, skin reactions, and my nervous system is not healthy. So if I add coconut, some of you might be like, this is too much. And I get that. But I've been on a nutrition journey for 30 plus years. And this is where I've landed on with my coffee. So I have a Vitamix. I make the coffee. I put the coffee in the Vitamix. And I will add some coconut butter. If you don't know what that is, it's like peanut butter, almond butter, any nut butter, but they make it out of coconut. And so I'll add a scoop of that, some ginger, salt, and pepper. I always add salt to my morning drink because it tells your body that you need to get rehydrated. It helps your body to hold on to the water that you've rehydrated yourself after sleeping all evening. So I add flax or chia, one of the two, and then I add walnuts, just a couple. I'll add walnuts. They're so good for you. I'll add a date. I'll throw a date in there. And then sometimes I put a scoop of cacao in there also. So these are all just superfoods, and this allows my body to say, okay, this is actually good on itself. Well, by itself, coffee is really hard for me to drink, but with all of these things added, all of a sudden it's okay for my body. So we're gonna talk more about the energetics of nutrition and your body and biodiversity and all of that. But right now I just wanted to share that with you. So to come back around to what we were talking about, sitting in a place of rest. So I am having this beautiful cup of coffee right now. And I am making this video because I've been inspired to do it. So so many times when we're sitting in this state of rest, we convince ourselves that It's not okay. It's not enough. We need to be doing something else. How can we fix this? How can we change this? How can we be productive? How can we do something else differently, right? And so we distract ourselves. We distract ourselves from this place of introspection that is part of the big theme of the ebb and flow of your life experience and your spiritual growth. So, the message really is be present in both the highs and the lows, right? Be present in both because they're both necessary, and all of that space in between, right? Because that's probably where we're at more. We have these extreme highs and these extreme lows, and then most of our time is spent fluctuating in between those. So being present in all of it allows, and I wrote this down, it allows the creation. It allows the creation. When we get stuck in either the high because we like it so much, or the low because we're inundated with that idea that we can't be there, then that's resistance. That's resistance to our flow, our natural flow in our lives. And everybody has an individual flow. You know, my flow is different than your flow. What I need to be doing in this moment is different than what you need to be doing, what your soul is calling you to do, what your higher self is calling you to do. So acceptance and allowing the flow to happen is the process of energy movement. That is energy movement. So I told you about the spirals. I brought up the spirals as a reminder that you can use them in your energy work. You can use them when you're meditating. You can visualize spirals. When you're creating your altar, you can put different spirals on the altar and call in that divine energy. Let's just take a minute. Close our eyes if we feel so inspired and just visualize a spiral of light moving through you. Let that spiral around you, spiral within you, and take note of the direction that it is moving. If it's moving towards the left, that shows that you need to release, or you're being called to release old pain, old ideas, perspectives that don't work for you anymore, or ancestral trauma that you're carrying for others that have no place in your journey, in your heart. And if you see your spiral moving to the right, you're being called in to recognize your purpose, to have the courage to move forward in your authenticity, to show the world who you are, and really unapologetically embrace that divine masculine energy that will propel you to align with your purpose and what that means for you. All right, so I was guided to do a card pull for the collective energy. So we're going to use the spirit animal What is our spirit animal message for this? For the collective. Oh, bam. Immediate. And I love it. Our message is this: self-love. It's the peacock. Of course it's self-love. Love is always the answer to everything. And in order for us to be on this spiritual journey, we have to have self-love. So the message is, you will find great power in focusing on the positive aspects of yourself, that which makes you indefinably unique and beautiful. There are deep wells of untapped inner power in letting go of negative self-talk. For sure, right? We're all beautiful and unique. We are all beautiful in our own unique way, and we all are here for a reason. Love is always, always, always the answer. You know, self-love is supportive. Self-love is necessary. We're all being called to remember why we chose to be here in this time, this challenging and also amazing moment where the challenges are propelling us to open our perspective, to change our perspective, to really go introspectively and identify how we view the world, how we view others, how we view our role in this time, in this moment. I don't know about time, whether you believe in time or not, but in this present moment. So use that love. Your energy doesn't need to be perfect, right? I mean, when I first started making these videos, I got so hung up on the idea of, well, I'm older. You know, I didn't grow up in front of a camera. This doesn't come naturally to me. You can see my wrinkles, you can, whatever. I am being vulnerable by being on the camera, and it took me a little bit of time to be comfortable with that. Saying that you don't care about anybody else's opinions is profound and empowering. It's empowering. That's weird that I can't say that. Empowering. There we go. It's empowering. That still sounds weird to me. Yeah. So remember, your energy doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to move. You just need to allow the ebb and the flow, whether it's rising, resting, or releasing. You're not wrong. You're in motion. You are divine, right? So let go of the fight. Let go of that resistance to wherever your journey is taking you, and trust that it's exactly where you need to go. It's the experience that you need to expand your consciousness, to allow your perspective to change. So I would love to hear your perspective on all of this. And if you'd like to, explore your own personal journey with me on a one-to-one, you can work with me at earthgoddessenergyhealing.com. And beyond that, I really hope that we can create this community of love and light and support for each other. So with that, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to me. Put in the comments your own experiences with this, and your ideas and how you see this playing out. and maybe your own experiences with sacred geometry also. So shine your light. The world needs it. Always choose love. Namaste.